So I'm assuming you know who's Kanye West, and I'm assuming you know who's Taylor Swift. And unless you're really out of touch with pop culture, I'm assuming you also know of the infamous 2009 MTV VMA Awards, where Taylor Swift won Best Female Video, and Kanye West kinda stole the mic from Taylor Swift during her acceptance speech, and it's now become a very infamous scene where Kanye basically humiliated Taylor Swift by telling everyone in the room, and by proxy the whole world, that Beyonce had a better music video than Taylor Swift. And now everyone, including the media, the general public, and maybe even his friends, are calling him a trashy person because he humiliated a then teenage Taylor Swift of her award that she won, and it was so unnecessary to a certain extent that is perceived by some people. Was it the right thing to do? Was it justified? I leave it up to you to decide. I don't have any comments in this, but all I do know is that Kanye had to save his reputation from being a very trashy person that is seen on this global scale for humiliating a teenager for receiving an award. And he had to do so in Swift faction because people are saying that that was his career ending move, and that was the move that would end his career, and that was the stupidest move, stupidest flop he ever done. So he had one shot to prove to everybody that he's justified in a sense that he did it out of some sort of personal moral indignation rather than him being such an a-hole, and just doing it because he's Kanye. So later that year, Ye actually retreated to Hawaii, where he only invited a few close collaborators as well as his friends to work on his next album or his next project. And it will be now famously known as his magnum opus, which is the album of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Okay, a few things I want to mention first. I will not be running through every single song in this album, even though there are some real bangers in there, such as the legendary verse by Nicki Minaj on Monster, which cemented My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy to be arguably the best comeback album of all time. Of all time. And I think most YouTube videos out there actually do talk about this subject more in depth and also at a better level and a better analysis than I could ever do. So there's another thing I want to mention, and this may be catered to only a very small group of people, but I'm going to say anyways, is that sometimes some people have very strong reactions when they come to albums with very explicit messages, or like albums with lots of profanities, lots of vulgarities. And I think for that note, I always view a body of work, a body of art, as a chapter in someone's life, a chapter in the artist's life. And it represents whatever he was going through in that process, in that moment, and in that season of his life. So, do I wholeheartedly agree with whatever he's going through then? Not exactly. But do I want to hear what he has to say about his season? Yeah, maybe, and maybe you'll actually learn something from it. So all I'm just saying is give albums with explicit messages a chance. And, especially rap albums, because there's so much depth to it and so much intrigue to it that you may not get at first glance, but after an in-depth analysis on it, you will actually know what it means. Imagine for me that you are Kanye, you're just screwed up in the eyes of the public. You just made, I think, one of the biggest blunders that people perceive of, at that time, where they say that you'll never recover professionally as well as personally, and you have only one chance at a comeback. What will you do? Personally for me, I don't know that I'll be able to make a double platinum album that has, been so impactful on pop culture and culture at large, like 10 years ago as it is now, it's still being talked till today, the album My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And he reached a certain level of authenticity and a certain level of genuine humility, I guess, and how he personified his douchebag personality in like this one body of work, which was pretty incredible for Kanye at the time, and for any artist actually, because at the time he wasn't really seen to be this kind of guy that would be so vulnerable and would like be humble enough to say sorry. So it was a very, very, very important piece of body of work for him. Okay, there's one song on his album that I feel that really personifies and embodies whatever I've just mentioned about Kanye West's humility, authenticity, and how his personification of the douchebag character is really emphasized throughout this whole entire body of work. And that song is Runaway. His arguably biggest masterpiece that he has ever made in his whole career. Okay, musically, we start with a single note. I think it's the E note, and it's repeated 15 times. And usually, this first starting note will be on the first and third beat. But Kanye just flips it around and he emphasizes it on the second and fourth beat. So it gives a sort of stutter step, a bit of a interesting kind of feel to the whole entire starting first 15 notes of the song. And he chooses to start it in such a monotonous single note syncopation kind of thing, and it was very interesting at that time. And especially in terms of the whole album, it's a huge dynamic shift. Kanye, he loves his dynamics, so it was a huge dynamic shift, and that first 15 notes really draws the audience in and perks your ears up to listen to what he has to say in the following bars later. And then after the 15 notes, it changes to a melody, and after that melody, it changes to the beat where the drums comes in, and it's going to be a banger when the drums comes in, because it's so good. So let's analyze this from a little bit more of like a words, lyrics, literature kind of point of view. So in the eyes of the general public, Kanye is seen to be this guy who embodies this really trashy clout chaser kind of personality, where he just chases money, fame, sex, power, all these kind of things. And I guess this song really makes him address all these issues that people perceive of him. He just strips all the glamour out of it. And genius lyrics for this song, Runaway, calls this a Greek tragedy rap. And I really like the sound of that, because it really takes all the stereotypes of what people perceive as success and wealth and fame, and he just turns it on its head. This whole entire song is basically Kanye just calling himself out, for being self-absorbed, selfish at times. And he's talking to his girl in this whole entire song, because runaway, right? We should run away. So he's really just addressing all the selfishness and the self-absorbency and all the self-centeredness that he has in himself. But at the same time, he's not glamorizing it. And at the same time also, in the chorus, he says, let's have a toast for the people like him, who are a-holes, douchebags, all these kind of people who others perceive to be the scum of society. And he has a toast for these people. Why would he have a toast for these people who, are perceived to be the scum of society then? Well, it's because he understands these people, and these people understand him. Because he feels like he's part of the tribe, and he feels like these people are the ones who really know what he's going through and know why he's doing what he's doing. Even though everyone else around the world may misunderstand him, these are the people that actually know why he spends so much time on his craft, why he loves doing what he's doing, and why he's this embodiment of this character. And I like the chorus, the last line where it says, we never take any work off, because that is how he perceives himself, as a workaholic, a person who is so in the zone and so focused on whatever he thinks is right, whatever he thinks is proper, that everyone else may think he's just weird and eccentric and thinks he's just this trashy dude. So it's quite interesting, and it's quite an impactful first verse and chorus, out from the get-go, where he addresses all these kind of things, which I find really interesting and really cool, especially for a Kanye West album, because you don't really see this often. And I like how Kanye really is addressing all these shortcomings of his, how he's putting on a mirror and telling everybody that, hey, I do know that this is my character and this is who I am, and he's addressing all of this. But at the same time, he's also celebrating these shortcomings with the same type of people that is around him. Why is that so? Is because he really feels that these are the people that really knows him and truly understands why he's doing what he's doing. And I think that's a very remarkable message for the first chorus as well as the first verse. And yeah, it's just wow, amazing. Then comes Pusha T's verse, which is just, I guess, the cream of this whole entire song, where he is embodying this really ultimate douchebag character, this scum of what he thinks society perceives of him. And he's telling his girl that, hey, even though I treat you like trash, even though I treat you like all these kind of things, he's bragging about it, like, oh, I can treat you like that because I have so many girls that's lined up after me, and there's so many girls that's around me that I could just leave you for them. So you're really dispensable to me. That's what he's basically saying. And he's just saying how he's really this trashy dude. And the last line really cements his position, which it says, I'm young, rich, and tasteless P. So he's saying that he is a shallow dude, and he admits that he's a shallow dude, but he's okay with being a shallow dude, and he's okay with being this ultimate douchebag who is just chasing money, fame, clout, power, girls, and all these kind of things. And you don't need to stay by my side, if you're my girl, because there's millions of you like that. So it's a very trashy, scummy way of treating his girl and treating the person that he loves most. And I think in most sense, that whole entire verse is really what Kanye is feeling the general public thinks of him, when he's this selfish, scummy dude that really cares about himself and only about himself, self-centered, and this kind of persona, this character, this scum of the earth kind of character. And I think he's projecting all that negativity, or Pusha T rather, is using all this negativity and projecting it onto the song to show people and to ask people and to ask us, the listeners or the general audience, the general public and the media even, am I really that kind of person, or am I just being misunderstood? Am I really this scum of the earth kind of character, or am I just a person who's just misunderstood, for all the stuff that I did. Then comes the glorious 3 minutes of indistinguishable words that Ye just projects through a vocoder. And okay, to be honest, at first glance I was like, I have no idea what is going on. First listen, I was like, okay, this song's pretty dope, Then it's like these 3 minutes of, I guess, in Chinese it's 杂音, right, which is rubbish music, and it's like, what is happening? And I think at the end of the day, I was thinking to myself, what is the message of this song that Kanye is trying to put forth? How he's trying to say, am I who you think I am, or am I just being misunderstood? I think that's a central message that he was trying to say through this song. And because that is the central message of this song, that 3 minutes of indistinguishable words is just the perfect ending to the whole entire track. Why? Because I think and I feel that the 3 minutes of indistinguishable words is basically Kanye saying that whatever he says, or whatever thoughts and whatever opinions that he has that comes out of his mouth or that comes out from him is being misconstrued and is misinterpreted by the general public, by the media, by the people around him, and turns out to be something that's really trashy and really wrong and distorted and really disjointed, and it's not what the intended meaning was from the beginning, or what the intended thought was that he wanted to project it. And I think that was such a beautiful way of just encapsulating his whole entire thought process and whatever he genuinely feels that the public is showing him and that the media is giving him, this platform where he is able to voice his opinions, but every time he voices out his opinions, he is either misunderstood or people don't get what he's doing. And I think that's the brilliance of Runaway. Ye will go on to debut this song, Runaway, on the 2010 MTV VMA Awards. Yes, the exact same platform that 1 year ago people said that would end his career, and that it was a career-ending move, and by doing what he did at that platform, it was the ultimate comeback. It was the ultimate apology song, and it's the ultimate song that expresses his thoughts and his processes through the whole incident as a public figure as well as a person for the whole past year. And I think that's so brilliant, and I'm just lost for words. You should just go watch the performance, and knowing this backstory and knowing this context, you get what I mean when some people, when they watch it, they say that they get very emotional from it because of the struggle and whatever he's gone through to reach to that point and to perform that song with Pusha T on the stage. Kanye also will release a 34-minute short film or music video, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's basically like this compilation of all his songs that is presented in a narrative format, and he was the director and also starring inside the film. And yeah, that whole entire film is a deconstruction from another day, you know. It's a lot to unpack also, but it's also really interesting seeing whatever he put out in an auditory form into a visual format, and I think that's really really cool. And you should go watch it and go check it out. It's free on YouTube. I think this is the brilliance of Kanye, you know, where he's able to artistically find his voice and how he's managed to use his own art, his own medium, which is music, to project whatever he's thinking and to project his thought process for everyone else and for the general public. And not only his thought process as a professional artist, but also as a professional human. You know, how he's going through and processing everything, even with his personal life and his professional life crashing all around him. That's what makes Kanye relatable in this particular album only. Because, you know, like, for me, I have nothing in common with Kanye. I don't think I can reach the amount of stardom or the amount of fame that he has, but I can understand what it means to be human. I can understand what it means to be misunderstood. I can understand what it means to be wronged at times. I can understand what it means to be perceived by other people, even though you may have good intentions, wrongly. And all these kind of things is very human and very something that everyone can relate to, I guess. The general public, even the media, the people in the media can relate to. And I think Kanye is just holding up the mirror in front of us saying, hey, you know, everyone has their days, everyone goes through these kind of seasons, everyone goes through these kind of things. So are you gonna, like, you know, judge me for it? Are you gonna, like, make me out to be this bad guy, this villain, because I am just trying to find my footing in this world? I'm just trying to find my voice. You know, even though I screw up, even though I make mistakes, even though, you know, I may not be exactly the best person or the most angelic person out there, are you willing to accept me for who I am, you know? And questions that were raised through this body of work that I think really cements this as really Kanye's magnum opus. In more ways than one, I feel like that is somewhat of all of our experiences going through life, you know. And just that Kanye was doing it on a massive stage, you know, with millions of people watching him and millions of people like criticizing him. But all of us on a macro level also go through this kind of experiences as a human being. When I was 13 years old, you know, all the stupid stuff that I did, I will never want to do again. I will never want to relive again. But it made me who I am. And just that, you know, no one really documented it, or only I documented it, but it's only on Facebook, in the deep recesses of my mind. And, you know, only the people that knew about me way before really understood what I was going through. And that made me who I am today. So I think that is something that Kanye really is putting forth to everybody and letting everyone know that, hey, this is me. Kanye used the only way he knew how, which was his artistic creativity, to provide such a masterpiece where he presents it to the public and presents it to the people who've elevated him to this position of stature, I guess, in society, in pop culture, which is us. And I think that is, you know, something for us to think about even as we listen to this album and even as we understand what was going through his mind when he was making it. So this year marks the 10-year anniversary of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy 2020. The album came out in 2010. And the song Runaway on YouTube came out on my birthday too. So it's pretty cool that I'm doing this video now. And it was unintentional, but I found this website called letshaveatoast.com, and it's basically someone created this tribute to this legendary song and the legendary performance that he made on the 2010 VMA Awards, which he performed Runaway. And yeah, you should go check it out. It's really a nice wrap up for this whole entire video and this whole entire case for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, as well as Kanye West at that point of time in his life, in that chapter of his artistic creativity. Yeah, you get what I mean, right? Yeah, So thank you so much for watching, everybody. I had really a lot of fun making this video because I've been listening to this album for the past decade, when it first came out, and only recently where I did a deep dive research into this whole entire album and the song Runaway, that really made me appreciate that body of work so much more, that compelled me to like make this video, and yeah, you can say it's a little bit extreme, but I really admire whatever he had to do at that point of time with his career and in his life, because like I said before just now, not many people are able to come back with like a double platinum album, which is cemented to be one of the greatest legendary rap albums of all time, and his masterpiece basically. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed listening or watching this whole entire video, and go listen for yourself, stream My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And even though it's pretty explicit, but if you go past the explicities and go past the profanities and go past all these very gratuitous messages, you'll find the beauty of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy being laid out for you, and understand Kanye's psyche and his honesty in this whole entire album. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.